Welcome to the Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal Encounters podcast, where we explore the unexplained and mysterious phenomena that have occurred throughout the state of Michigan and beyond.
From UFO sightings to ghostly encounters, we delve deep into the stories, the evidence, and the theories behind these strange events.
We are your hosts. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Wayne.
We are an educator duo that after an encounter with a triangular UFO in 2018 in Michigan, we decided to investigate UFOs and the paranormal. In this podcast, we will be speaking with eyewitnesses, experts, and researchers to uncover the truth about some of the most intriguing cases of paranormal activity in and around Michigan.
Our goal is not to convince anyone of the existence of these phenomena, but rather to provide a platform for discussion and exploration. So, buckle up and join us on this journey down the paranormal rabbit hole.
On an escalator.
What is going on, everybody? Do I have some incredible breaking news for you guys? And I need to just get this out there. Some very interesting emails and things have happened since we've had Bennie Foggin on our podcast. And I need to let you guys know. So hello to everybody in chat. This is going to be kind of a short what do I want to say? A short breaking news section. So glad you guys could join us. Michelle is kind of disposed right now, predisposed. So let's just jump right into this. So on Sunday, we had Bennie Foggin on our podcast, and we did a pre-recorded interview with him. And we released that. Since we released that, he has gotten a threatening phone call from a number, and we do have that number. And that person said, using a voice manipulator system on their phone, seemed to want to tell Bennie that you're not playing by the rules. And that's exactly what they said, and then hung up. So we've got that phone number. So if anything happens to those people, we're going to be sending the authorities your way, just so you know. All right. So with that off the table, incredible breaking news. So one of our listeners out there, and I'm just going to say his name is Nick, and Nick sent a episode of a television show that Bennie was part of back in 2000, and let me double check. The episode aired on December 22nd, 2013. Okay, so way, way far back, but I believe they recorded this information. Okay, they recorded this information probably the year before. I'm not sure. I don't have that information. But one of the things in this episode, there's a bunch of stuff that happens. So if you remember in the interview we did with Bennie, he talked about, let me make sure I want to get all their names right. Mike Barra and Daryl Sims. And they were part of this Uncovering Aliens show. And I'm not 100% sure. I've never watched it. That was way before Michelle and I had our experience, and we were pulled into this UFO stuff. So never watched it, but I think it was probably a Discovery Channel or a History Channel TV series, maybe even Sci-Fi Channel. I'm not exactly sure. But this episode was season 1, the second episode. And Bennie had told us that they had came out and they filmed a whole show, a whole bunch of information from them, but the recording went sour. In other words, there was all kinds of mechanical issues and things being lost, and the recording didn't turn out right. but they did have a few minutes of that recording that they were able to save and put into this episode. So the episode is called Alien Abductions and Bright Lights. Okay. And it was supposed to be a whole episode about Benny. And because of the interference with the recording of that material, it didn't turn out. So that is why in that episode, and again, Nick points this out. He said that the story that Benny told us on our episode was different than the story that was aired on Uncovering Aliens. And he's 100% correct, because they're two separate stories when they interviewed Benny's son. And I just got off the phone with Benny and his son, and they explained what happened. With the patches of the interview, the original 1 hour interview that was lost due to that, interference or whatever, wasted that, that recording, whatever happened, what they had left, they had pieced together, and it's two separate stories. One story is about the material that came off the UFO. The other story is when the UFO was there again and his son shot at it with a shotgun. Okay. So, and literally, I can show you my phone records. I just got off the phone with them. And I also have Daryl Sims, his contact information. So I'm going to work on getting him on the show. Seems like he's 100% legit. So, and he's down in Texas. So hopefully I can get him to come on the show and talk more about this and his experience. He's a former CIA guy who says he was abducted. And according to Benny, this guy is all about finding people that have implants and getting and testing the implants. So we've got to get him on. All right. And so we're going to work on that. So there's all that. Now, during that show in 2013, Daryl Sims, Mike Barra, and the other guests that were with him, let me see, Maureen Ellsbury, and I think it was Stephen Jones, all went. And so Benny hands him the medal. I have pictures of the exact same medal. I know this is Benny in the show, and I'm going to play it here in a minute. So he hands him the medal because they ask if they can take it and test it. And he hands it to him. Sure, go ahead. And so they take it to get it tested. This was all on TV now at this point. The testing was legit. This is what happened. Now, the testing I have of the material is from a different. Remember, Benny said he sent this stuff off, and every time they sent this stuff off, it was $3,000. $3,000 to test this material. Okay. So I have stuff from a gentleman named Nick Rader, or it might be Ryder, pronounced Ryder, Rieter, who did the testing. I have his results, which show way strange, abnormal isotope ranges for a lot of very rare earth elements. Okay. So I'm going to show you this, and I think you guys kind of need to see this. So let me go ahead and bring this up. Okay. I have closed captioning on just in case you can't hear it too well. And I know this is a red alert emergency broadcast. There's not a lot of people watching right now, but I hope this gets out to everybody so they can understand the chain of events. And I'll summarize here at the end, but I want you guys to check this out. This is after they've dropped off the metal and the test comes back.
As night falls, Mike and Maureen finally get the call from the lab. They have completed their analysis of the mystery material Ben found in his driveway.
Okay, real quick. Can you guys hear that okay? I know I've got people in chat, so could you hear that? Okay, I'm going to assume that you can. Okay, cool. You can. All right. Here's the results, the analysis. Take a listen to this.
Hey, Nick.
Hi there, Maureen.
So I'm really anxious to hear about the results of these tests.
The ratio of strontium-87 to strontium-88 was somewhat out of bounds. It's something other than a normal terrestrial strontium isotope ratio.
I guess I'd have to ask you at this point, if there was some chance this was extraterrestrial, could it be a meteor, or does it have to come from something that's manufactured?
Yeah, it would have to have been manufactured somewhere. It really does not appear to be an exact match to any known alloy, at least none that I've been able to find.
It had to be manufactured somewhere, and it was not a match to any known alloy, at least that this guy could find.
The next day, the UFO investigators regroup to assess the new evidence from Ben Foggin's UFO shooting incident.
Okay, so they're calling it a shooting incident. The material was not gathered from the shooting incident. They're trying to sensationalize it, okay? It's Hollywood. I mean, that's what they do, right? So, oh, I don't want to do that. Hold on. Let me go back here. And let's go here. Or here. Or here. Or here. Okay, there we go. That's the one I want. So the shooting incident was something completely different. It was a different story, and they pieced it together, and they wanted to sensationalize it. They wanted people to watch the second episode of this show. It did happen, but that's not how they got the medal. Okay. So that's why his story is different than what some people might find online. All right. I'm going to continue. I want you guys to hear this.
I picked up 2 radioactive signals. One
Radioactive signals were picked up in his yard, in his driveway. Okay.
was on a tree, one was directly beneath where the lights were at.
So you're saying you actually found radioactive material right where they had their sighting, right where he shot at it?
Exactly where the light was.
While they were firing, they may have actually hit something and knocked some radiation off into the tree and onto the ground.
Well, that's another piece of the puzzle that fits perfectly.
We also have some really compelling results from what we found out at the
Here
lab.
you go.
Okay, this little baby right here is really fascinating stuff. First of all, it's an aluminum alloy, and what that means is it's manufactured, okay?
Okay, so keep that in mind. It's an aluminum alloy. And by the way, this was after all the red material was stripped off. Okay, keep that in mind. All right.
Okay, so it's not any kind of a naturally occurring material, okay? The interesting thing about this particular aluminum alloy is it contains some very strange trace elements, and they have an isotopic ratio that is pretty far beyond what would be produced on Earth.
So you're saying it's...
That this was not made on the planet Earth. It was made somewhere else. Yeah,
Really?
absolutely. In that sense, this little hunk of metal is kind of the holy grail for this entire case.
There it is. I mean, this has been backed up. Okay. And mind you, the tests that are coming back from that stuff underneath the mesa at Skinwalker Ranch, same type of material. So my current thoughts on all of this stuff is when you look at how Benny has had, after getting this medal, incredible amounts of paranormal and Bigfoot sighting activity, and you look at the activity they have on Skinwalker Ranch and then what they found underneath the mesa, this material may be what's pulling some of these things in. Now, I know I'm going to get on my high horse here for a minute, and I'm going to play a little bit more of this. There are people out there on YouTube and skeptics and all of this stuff. Some of them I know pretty well, who will yell and scream, "Where's the evidence? Where's the evidence?" Here is the evidence. The evidence for this stuff is all around you. It's hidden in little things like this from 2013, before any of us even knew what was going on. And some people that have been in this field for 20, 30 years should know this stuff and be out there educating people on it. And they're not. And it really ticks me off, because people like me and my wife, who had our experience in 2018, we've had to do all of our digging on our own and get wrapped up into some weirdo, stuff with abductions and things. And come to find out, there is real, legit evidence. Just because you see people telling their stories in front of Congress and you can't be there to do it and be in the limelight, doesn't mean that this stuff isn't happening. And because they're not driving a spaceship onto your front lawn, doesn't mean these things are not existing. Okay? There's your physical right there. There's your physical evidence, and it's going to be on the show this Sunday. Okay? There's your physical material evidence, and it's been tested multiple times. One of those receipts I have. Okay? And I'm really getting tired of people out there. Where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? My God. Open your eyes. It's there. So I want to continue, because they're going to go to Benny's house here. Let me fast forward a little bit. And they're going to reveal to him what they found.
The team meet with Ben Foggin to reveal their findings.
So my friend.
Ben, how y'all doing?
Good, good.
Very good.
Thank you for loaning us your metal. We took it to the lab for analysis, and from the tests that were done, it came back saying that this was quite an unusual aluminum alloy.
This object is definitely two things. It's manufactured, and it had to have been manufactured somewhere else, because the tests indicate that it could be of extraterrestrial origin.
But I'm sure you're not surprised by the unusual qualities of this metal.
I know where it came from.
How do you feel now, Ben? Does it feel better that you've shared your experience with us?
Yes, I feel for people that's going through the same thing to help them along.
Yeah, that's important, I think, Ben.
Ben, this will help thousands and thousands of people. The fact is that these entities, in my view, are not here to save the planet, fix the ozone hole, or do anything like that. We're never going to know the truth unless people like you come forward and show your evidence. Then that allows us to put together a pattern and find out exactly who they are and what they're doing.
Thank you.
Okay. So somebody tell me how he's faking this. Okay. There's your evidence. What else do you need? You have the story that backs it up. These people seem pretty legit wanting to find out what's going on. I know from talking to Barry, Daryl Sims is 100% like researching this. All right. There's the test put out there for everybody to see. And probably on Sunday, I'm going to just take some people's emails and stuff off of this test results that Benny sent me. And I will show you those test results along with he's bringing the metal on. Okay. So you're going to see the metal firsthand. I've got good pictures of it, and I can show you the drill holes in that metal where the red material that he said that he got his finger wet and he ran it over the red material and it became invisible. I can show you the holes where that was drilled out, probably by some type of a tubular drill to remove that stuff. So again, this Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, live, Benny will be with us in studio, and he's got some incredible breaking abduction stuff that it's just going to blow your mind. I'm kind of beside myself when I'm talking to him. And also the owner of the famous Bob White material, okay, has contacted me, and he was in chat during the last show, and we talked for about an hour and a half, and this material is real. The evidence is there. Stop saying, where's the evidence? There's no evidence. There's more stories, but no evidence. Look, it's there. You have to look for it. So that's really what I wanted to come on and tell you guys. The metal test, it was on a TV show. It's legit. What he said about the strontium, I have the test that shows that, but there's many other elements in there that are off planet. There's no way, or you would need billions of dollars to be able to manufacture something like this. And it's an alloy. It's not a slag. Okay. Slag doesn't drop out of the sky off of things. Okay. Unless it seems like it's a UFO. So I don't know what else to say, but that is the chain of events. Two stories were spliced together because the original filming of that episode was supposed to be an hour long. That's all they had left is what you saw there pieced together. And they mixed the two stories together to give them a little bit more time. The shotgun incident is a different incident than when the metal fell off of the UFO or whatever happened to it. Okay. So before I check out, any questions? I see there's some people in chat, so I will open it up for questions and I will do my best to answer it. Anybody? Let's see. Crypto Sunshine SPG says, I think the ones that remove the red are where the bleep, bleep, bleeping phone call came from. Just saying. Probably. And we know who those people are. And I want to throw it out to Lou Elizondo because I'm sure he's going to see this and he saw the Benny episode. But if you want to come on here and talk about what happened, I still want to give him a chance to come forward and talk about this whole ordeal, because I honestly don't think Lou was in this to profit. I don't know. Maybe he was, but I think there's something bigger going on. And I think these guys are trying to collect all of this material so they can, reverse engineer. How they talk about crashed UFOs. They don't need a whole UFO. They just need a piece of this stuff. And Tom DeLonge told Benny that since they originally took his metal and did tests on it, that a whole series of new technologies has been designed based on their metal, and they haven't seen a penny of it. That's not right. So, all right, everybody, I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you guys on Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, live this time with Benny. He's going to tell us some more of his stories and things that happened. It's going to blow your mind. I have heard a little bit more about it. Some stories if you've been following this podcast since like episode 4 with Guy Merritt, some stories that are going to be kind of similar to that. But yeah, unfortunately we have to wait till Sunday, but we'll see you guys then. All right. Okay. Everybody that's here, thank you for joining. You guys are the first to get this breaking news, and have a good night. We'll see you later.